Hey y'all, welcome back to New Slang. Glad to have y'all tuning in. I am music journalist Thomas Mooney, and this is somehow episode 200. I guess when you get to a number like this, you can't help but be proud of that a little bit at least. I've had some mighty fine guests over the years. Somehow though, this is the first time I've had Quaker City Night Hawks on. I feel like we've had a couple of missed chances over the years, but at any rate, I'm so glad that Sam and David were able to take a few minutes this past Friday when they were in town. They were playing the Blue Light, of course, and yeah, we went ahead and set up around sound check over at Tom's, and we cover some interesting ground on this one. Everything from some early years before Quaker City Night Hawks, when they were spending a little bit of time out here in Lubbock and Amarillo, to the music of our formidable years. And we go into some really interesting conversation about how basically a year off impacts the creative process and makes you really reassess your approach to releasing music and touring in general. Some really fascinating stuff from Sam and David on that one. Today's presenting partner is our pals over at Desert Door Texas Soto. If you've been listening to New Slang for really any amount of time, you'll know that Desert Door is one of my all-time favorite premium, high-quality spirits. If you haven't or aren't sure what exactly a Soto is, I'm going to let you in on a little secret that's going to up the game on your liquor cabinet. For starters, the best reference point that I can point you to is to think about a tequila or a mezcal. Do you feel that Western desert, that Texas ruggedness? Okay, Soto is like that, but a little bit more refined, smooth, and fragrant. It intrigues the palate and offers these hints of vanilla and citrus. There's an earthiness that often sends me right back to my Trans-Pecos and far west Texas roots. There's plenty to love about Desert Door. For me, it all starts right there. A close second is just how versatile Desert Door really is. You can go full highbrow and experiment with concocting a variety of cocktails that call for muddling fresh fruit, sprigs of thyme, sticks of cinnamon. It's perfect for that world. If you're a little bit more down home, if you've just rolled up the sleeves of your denim Wrangler button-up, it's perfect for that as well. If you're just desiring something that's short and sweet, it hits the mark every time. Desert Door is genuine and authentically West Texan. It's inherently West Texan. They harvest Soto plants out in the wild and are knowledgeable conservationists at heart. That's obviously something incredibly important to me. They shine a light on what makes West Texas special and unique and worth preserving and keeping it safe from exploitation. Right now, you can find Desert Door all over Texas, Colorado, Tennessee, and there's budding numbers in places like New Mexico, Arizona, California, and Georgia. Best thing you can do is to check out desertdoor.com to find where Desert Door is locally. Again, that's desertdoor.com. If this is your first time listening to New Slang, go ahead and hit that subscribe button wherever you listen to podcasts. If you're an Apple Podcast person, please leave one of those 5-star reviews. So I'm going to continue beating this drum. I have a new book coming out really soon. It's called The Lubbock Way, a collection of wallflower vignettes. And as you'd guess from the title, it's a series of stories about the Lubbock music scene. Right now, it's over in the merch store for pre-order. And of course, also in the merch store is plenty of other New Slang stuff like t-shirts and koozies and coffee mugs and shot glasses. If Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook are your thing, well, please go follow New Slang on all of those as well. I'm also doing another Charlie Stout print giveaway. Last week, it was 3 retro prints of the Blue Light, and this week, it's 3 retro 4x6s that I've dubbed the Highway kind. To enter this giveaway, all you have to do is go follow me on Twitter, go follow Charlie on Twitter, and then retweet the tweet about the giveaway. Super simple. All the links that I just mentioned, they will be in the show notes. All right, let's get on into the interview. Here is Sam Anderson and David Matsler of Quaker City Night Hawks. Feels like you guys have been here for a while, but then obviously add on the pandemic, and it's here. So
it's some years, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, good to be back.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think the last time I saw y'all here.
I think, man, I'm trying to remember when it was. I know one time we had our van explode while we were on our way up here and didn't make it, coming from Austin. But I think we played once after that. But yeah, it had to have been least 3 years ago. Yeah,
exactly. A
Yeah.
few maybe. So good to be back.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah, the Blue Light. It's it's a special place.
Oh, yeah.
That's
It is,
the.
man.
I remember like the first time seeing y'all. You were opening for, I'm assuming, probably like Jonathan Tyler.
I think that was the
Yeah.
first time we played up here, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and that was just that feels like ages ago too.
I mean,
Right.
that was
But-
probably 8-9 years ago, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like somewhere in that range
Yeah.
for sure. A lot.
Yeah, what I'm thinking about though is I know like we pretty early on we'd have like interviews with y'all, and one of the things I always remember is you talking about you guys being out here in Lubbock before Quaker City Night Hawks, and trying to play around, but it was more like coffee shop kind of.
Yeah.
For sure.
Style.
Yeah.
That's like what were those days like as far as like trying to figure out what you were wanting to do before the band aspect of it.
We were actually mentioning while we were sound checking that Sam and I met here, and we might have mentioned that last time, but first time we ever met was your apartment's over off of 4th or something like that?
I was living off Quaker in the Loop.
But yeah, so he was from Fort Worth and I was from Amarillo, and we just happened to be in town and met through some mutual buddies. But trying to figure it out as far as that goes, it was not good. Yeah. Just us playing God knows what.
I had literally never played a show before in my life, so I think my first show ever was at either J&B's or Sugar Browns. Sugar Browns, yeah. I think it was Sugar Browns, but yeah, that was the first time I'd ever played on a stage. So I had no clue what I was doing. Not like I do now, but I've just been
better at faking
just
it now.
done it more times. So yeah, but yeah, to be honest with you, and nothing against these coffee shops. I love Sugar Browns. Please go there, drink their coffee.
Yep.
But I hated playing in coffee shops like really badly.
Yeah.
I did not like it. It's just I could never get it. I don't know if I had that command of an audience at that point either, but I just could never figure it out.
Plus, whenever you thought you did, you hear
Yeah,
somebody over
like-
there steaming some milk for something. It's like, I'll just wait till they're done, till this latte's done, and
Yep.
we'll get it going. Somebody
it
knocking
feel-
the coffee grounds out
Yeah.
real loud on the thing.
Doesn't it feel like a real I don't know, there's like something a little bit more probably nostalgic about being the coffee
Yeah.
house kind of band, or like the
Yeah.
upper northeast kind of
Yeah,
For sure.
It's also the easiest place to get a show whenever you're first starting too. But
Yeah.
you can only play, Ryan Adams' cover of Wonderwall so many
Yeah,
times
they'd give us a
before
Tu-
you're
They'd give us
over
a
it.
Tuesday night with no problem, or some night when
Yeah,
nobody was
right.
going to be there or whatever.
Get-
Yeah,
get-
you can come and play Monday if you want.
Get paid in broccoli cheese soup. He's like, listen, we didn't do anything at the door, but we are gonna have to throw this soup out. So you're like, yeah, give me this soup.
I definitely do think of it with nostalgia now. It's like, oh man, how cute were we back then trying
right?
to figure all that shit out?
Well, I even like related to like I can't even like point to any movie, but like the idea of like the coffee shop band, or like the artist coming out of the coffee. Like all I'm thinking about is like You Got Mail, because I
Yeah.
like that was revolving around bookstore, coffee shop kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only so many times you can play Wonderwall, Fast Car by Tracy Tratt.
Yep.
Chapman,
Yeah.
Which I mean that's
We listened to that on the way
Yeah,
here.
it's so random. We did actually.
Yeah.
It was just on the radio. We didn't.
There's definitely some coffee shop hits that are any David Gray.
Yeah.
That's a
plenty
big
of that.
coffee
I think I would've
shop-
tried to-
coffee shop.
I had a pretty mean Satellite by Dave Matthews
Oh
Band back in
yeah,
the
I
day.
do remember that. I'm pretty sure the first show you saw me play, I rattled off some Hootie and the Blowfish.
Yeah, I know you dropped
Yeah.
a U2 in there.
Yeah,
I
there was
don't know
a
which
U2.
one, to be honest with you. but
Yeah.
I was actually just
I was-
wondering, what were we wearing while this was all happening? Like, I can't imagine what
I
ridiculous
think
shit
I used to
we
comb.
had
I
on.
think I used to comb my hair for those
Yeah,
shows.
I'm pretty sure I was definitely rocking some long cargos.
Man, the Dave Matthews. Okay, so that's like a band where once a year I'll go like, man, I need to listen to some Dave Matthews, and then I'll listen to like the Crash record like one time through and be like, okay, yeah, that was good for
I'm
E
the
good.
year.
I'm re-upped on that. Yeah.
But like,
I
I
like a
remember-
baby.
yeah, it's just like one of those like the Trenton Trotting Trails.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just kind of like, man,
Trotting trails.
That was the Jimmy Fallon Trenton Trottin' Trolls on his comedy
Yeah.
album that he dong
Dude,
ding
I was,
dong baby.
in high school at Amarillo High. I don't know when. I might have even been in middle school, but I was driving. I was riding my bicycle around the high school parking lot, and there was a Case Logic like CD case, Some of you listeners probably don't know what that is. But anyways, you had to put all your CDs in these ridiculous CD cases. And I found one in the parking lot. And I was like, I probably listened, I'm sure my record collection was like the Beach Boys. Yeah. Maybe that was it. I just, just a kid. But I found one and it had a bunch of, like, it had that Live at Luther College. And at the time, I was like, this is some bad shit right here. And again, I liked it. Used to go see him live a little back in the high school days.
Dude, I remember, like, I was telling someone about how the first time I came across it, like, where I was exposed to music that it was not my parents' music, which was like, 90s country, and like my mom listened to a bunch of like 80s hair metal kind of stuff, right? The first time that I came through something like that was at summer camp, and it was like the Dave Matthews and the Counting Crows record,
right?
Not the T-Bone Burnett one. What's the other one?
Is August and Everything? Is that T-Bone?
I think that is.
I wasn't sure which one he did of theirs.
Yeah.
But that was like the first, like, wait.
Man, I love
you guys, like,
Live Across the Wire and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I love
like
Counting
this
Crows.
other stuff.
There's other music out, right?
And it was just kind of one of those, just, even though, like, I'm not listening to that every day, I feel like that was opening doors and opening.
Oh, yeah.
Like
100%.
The first music you listen to that's not your parents is always, like, super, heavy to you. I mean, mine was Boyz II Men and Babyface. So, like, that was the first, like, not Carole King album I think I ever heard. Right. So,
do you remember like the first time you like was requesting a record or a CD for like your birthday or Christmas from your parents?
Oh yeah,
you were like, yeah, that like it
was Boyz II Men 2 and the All for One album with I Swear on it.
I had those records too, man.
And I got them and I was stoked, and my mom was upset about the I'll Make Love to You song on the Boyz II Men album, where they suggest you throw your clothes on the floor, and she was
they recommend
that was
recommend that you do it.
Wanye, what are you talking about? Like,
that's so funny because like I think that was like the Boyz II Men thing as like just a 8-9-year-old white kid in West Texas. That was like one of these like bands that my mom that was like, well, you can listen to this. This is like
good music. Yeah,
it's okay.
Well, we grew up Church of Christ, so it was all a cappella music. So my parents were like, yeah, this is like basically that. Yeah,
works.
There's 4 people singing. Like,
yeah. This episode is in part brought to you by Charlie Stout Photography. Charlie Stout has long been a great buddy of mine, and for as long as I've known him, he's always had a good eye for ideas, for lines in a song, and notably, an eye for what makes a great photograph. Yes, we're gonna roll with that tried and true cliche about a great photographer having a good eye. But it's cliche for a reason. More often than not, it means it's true. Right now, I want y'all to head on over to charliestout.com to get an idea of what I'm talking about. While you're at it, go give him a follow on Instagram and Twitter at Charlie Stout. Right now, he has about 50 photographs for sale on charliestout.com, with a vast majority of those being landscapes and sky shots of West Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. The American Southwest, if you will. A lot of cacti and clouds, windmills and open roads, sunsets and stardust. He captures a lot of what I love about West Texas and these dry, arid climates. That's mainly that vast emptiness that can really make you feel small. The depth and the weight and the intensity, it's all in there. Right now, he's doing a special on his prints. Each week, he releases a new photo, and for 1 week only, that photograph is at a special introductory rate. For just $25, you'll get an 8.5 by 11. That's just about half off the regular price. For $75, you can get a 13 by 19, and for $110, you can get a 17 by 22. After the week, they go back to regular prices, which are still an absolute steal if you ask me. Also, just a pro tip, keep a watchful eye out on his Twitter. He's consistently posting one-offs, errors, and randoms on there that are for sale that are in the flash sale variety. Again, that is at Charlie Stout for Twitter and Instagram. Head on over to charliestout.com, grab a signed print, buy a record, get yourself some nature sounds and some nature shots. All right, let's get back to the episode. I feel like there's like so many of those. I don't know, maybe it's more because there's, I feel like our generation is probably like the last generation that had like the touchstone of VH1 pop-up video and
for
MTV.
sure.
Oh, pop-up video was great.
Yeah, dude.
I feel like that should be a comeback.
Video.
Like that
Yeah,
is.
they should, right?
Little fun facts about music videos. Like, who doesn't like that?
Whoever did the facts was like, they were looking at that.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some interesting stuff in there. And then a bunch of bubble noises in the background.
Yeah.
I always
Bloop,
do.
bloop,
Yeah. and like now, like it would be so much easier because just hire some like high school, college kid to like look up on Wikipedia and just be like, blah, 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 about whatever band, you know. Whoever had that idea to begin with.
That's great.
That was
Yeah. Some quality programming, no doubt.
Yeah.
That's probably when they like started moving away from music videos. Though they're like, what can we do else to music videos? And you're like,
What else can we do?
Because like it was like the same 4 videos that were on. It was like Black Hole Sun, like the Bone Thugs and Harmonies, Crossroads, like all the same like 5 or 6 videos are on all the time.
Yeah.
Some Cars probably. Yeah.
They probably got paid $10 every time they aired one of those too. Back in the glory days, like here's a 10, here's another 10. Like,
Well, like it's such a weird time too because like music videos felt important.
Oh yeah.
They felt like there's like obviously there was like that MTV show like making the video or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly the name, but it was like, man, this is important. There's a giant budget to make a video about.
These people were spending millions on
Yeah.
music videos.
It's kind of like the same way, I guess, like, and I'm sure like record executives thought about it in this way of like having a #1 music video on TRL is the same thing as like having a #1 hit.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
You know?
Probably bigger. Just because
at one point it had to have been
reached more
at least
people,
as big,
you know?
if not bigger. Yeah.
And how many weeks you're on the top at TRL, you know? And they only played what, like 45 seconds of it, like unless you're the #1 video, and you just.
And then they found out all you had to do was grease Carson Daly's palm with a little cash and get right on there and then fly up the charts.
Or date him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was such an interesting time growing up because I remember also just most of the time I was not going straight home, but you know, TRO was coming on right after school, and it felt like almost like a race to try and get there if you had the chance to go home right after school. But do you remember the first band that kind of scared you, like because you were like, what is this? I don't.
Yeah. Marilyn Manson scared the shit out of me. That was I didn't know what to do with that. It's like
what's happening?
I remember not hating the music or anything like that. I was just like back when like there was like Blockbuster Music, and that was like the first place you could go like give them a CD and they'd take it out of the package and let you listen to it in headphones. And like, so I'd take that time to go listen to a bunch of stuff my parents would never allow me to listen to. So I'd ride my bike up there.
To the house.
And I'd be like, there's no way they'll let me listen to this. So I'd pop in the Marilyn Manson and be like, this is some scary shit right here. Like,
yeah, I never got to really see shows. You know what I mean? Like, it just didn't go out, and most cool bands didn't come through A-Town. But, I think I got scared like kind of recently by a couple bands. So you want to be like, oh damn, that's rad.
Because I'd listen to like you know, Pantera and like some heavier metal stuff like Metallica and stuff like that. But Marilyn Manson, the whole visual of it, I was just like, what is going on here? Like,
Yeah.
And it turns out he's a terrible person. So our parents were all right. Yeah. Moms were correct. Like not
the moms
a good
of America were
not
right.
a good guy.
That is very, very true. I was gonna say Manson for me was like one of the first where I was like,
Yeah.
And I remember there was like this show on MTV that was, it was a Marilyn Manson and 9 Inch Nails tour.
9 Inch Nails is pretty scary.
And it was like following them around, and I just remember being like, holy shit, like. What is this?
Yeah.
This is something I did not know was
S&M industrial rock. Like, that's definitely like a.
And then, like, you know, like you hear about 9 Inch Nails recording that one record at like where the Manson murders were.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, this isn't cool, guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's but it's also like I still think that like 9 Inch Nails is, and this is like part of it, but. man, like that is so wearing on your ears, and it's like fucking jarring. And then like, you know, add the fact that you're like 10 years old, 12. Yeah. And you're like, holy shit, what is this? This is hurting me.
And now
I feel like at that same time, like Rob Zombie videos kind of fell in that same world for me.
I remember
you're just watching it. I was like, is he a human being? Like, I've never seen anybody with so much weird stuff.
Loving the Dragula video.
Dragula, dude,
anytime that would come on, that song's awesome
on,
too.
Yeah, on VH1 probably, like we were talking about, just heavy rotation.
Yeah. What's it been like? Not to do like a hard shift here.
No,
but,
it's right.
you know, what's it been like the last couple of years because of the pandemic for y'all? Like, obviously you guys released a record back in 2019, but like what's it been like since then? And you know, obviously not playing out nearly as much because of quarantines and whatnot. What's the last couple of years been like for y'all?
A whole lot of weirdness. Like, it's just, I mean, like
weirdness.
just basically trying to, like everyone else in any industry, just trying to adjust. We got stuck. I guess the last tour we did was with the Moonpies, which was a blast, but it was like right as the world was shutting down, and kind of a little co-headlining tour with them up through the Northwest and then back through the Southwest, and it was a blast.
Yeah,
probably
so
one of the most fun tours I've ever been on, just because those guys are incredible. And then Dave and I did this little duo tour,
acoustic
duo tour
run
from hell, like
like as it, and it got shut down halfway.
Like we were in
fly back.
We were in Brooklyn the night before it shut down. Like just basically every city we went to was shutting down the next day after we left. So
and it was still one of those things where you didn't really understand. Meaning it was just happening,
it was all
but it's
new,
like, wait, what? You know, and it didn't. I don't know. We didn't know what was coming, obviously, but it felt really weird then.
We got stuck in, what was it, Connecticut?
Yeah, Connecticut.
Trying to find a way home from Connecticut. Not a bad place to be stuck, though.
Worst places to be stuck.
New Hampshire, somewhere up there.
Yeah, somewhere up there.
Somewhere up there where there's a lot of weed and ice cream.
Yeah.
So
at least there's something to help.
The thing for me that I thought was probably like obviously like the worst part of the pandemic was, you know, people getting sick, but for me I thought like what was just the biggest shift was it felt like we were all in this limbo period of 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, sure.
Like these promises of
8 weeks, and then it kept
just chunks at a time.
Summer, at the end of summer, fall, Christmas, and like it just felt like I felt like everyone would have been a whole lot better had they just said next year.
Yeah,
hunker down. Yeah,
and so I feel like, I don't know, for me, like it felt like it was just, you're just kind of being in this like weird limbo, this Groundhog Day. Now obviously like having time to write, to create is probably like the biggest thing that an artist can want, but probably not in that huge chunk of time.
Yeah.
Was that like this? Was there a weirdness for y'all in the creative spaces as well?
I pretty much experienced I pretty much before that would write something, you know, not like a whole song or anything, but try to do it every day, and then that stuff happened, and I just quit messing with it at a certain point. You know what I mean? It was like there's so much other shit going on that it just didn't feel important.
That much chaos kind of going on. Like I found it real hard to focus. You know, like to even and I'd try, but like and then you're just like, what? I've never been good about writing about stuff in the moment. Anyway, like I need hindsight. You know, I know a lot of people are great at, you know, like writing through a breakup or through, you know, like, you know, good and bad stuff. But I've always kind of needed to have a little bit of, you know, hindsight to it, and I didn't have any because we were still in the middle of it. So I just found it super hard to concentrate. And, you know, the last few months it's been a lot easier because, you know, we've been playing out again and you know, slowly kind of eking back into it, and it's kind of started to feel normal again, where, like, I think a lot of my writing, too, comes from playing live shows, and I know it sounds weird, but, like, just kind of dicking around before sound check. Being like, oh, that's a cool riff. That's a cool spot. Yeah. But, like, just being around it more kind of spurs more ideas for me. Being around the guys spurs more ideas.
Yeah. That's another thing, like, it's just the musical isolation. Yeah. Like, you know, we're just not getting to play with anybody, which is something that we definitely took for granted, you know, where you're just like, because we talked about how you could almost tour no matter what was happening, somewhere you could go play, and then it's like, no,
nowhere.
That's not true at all. Like, just zero. But yeah, I definitely missed just getting to sit around and play with just for the hell of it,
Yeah, and it was a hard break tap for us because the last, I guess, 2.5, 3 years before everything shut down, we were on the road constantly. Like we had done, laps around the country with like Corrosion Conformity and Crowbar, and then did Europe twice and the Moonpies run, and we're just constantly out, and then all of a sudden nothing. It wasn't like it was a gradual. It was just, and we had plans to play. Well, I'm sure everyone did. Summer's kind of the big time for a lot of stuff, and it was. I think the hard break tap was what was just so jarring. It was like going from playing 2/3 of the year to going to just nothing.
To zero.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's the, obviously, as you mentioned, like, as you said, dicking around before sound checks. Obviously, a lot of bands kind of utilize that time because, it is one of those, everyone's in the same place. You're plugged in, and in most situations, you have like a good sound in front of you. So, and of course, as you guys know, this business is so much of a like hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
So like, what else are you gonna do? And then all of a sudden, everyone's isolated, and like the forms of communication. Some people were able to really adapt to doing like Zoom calls and like trying to ride over that kind of stuff. But I feel like that was it's just like, at the very minimum, it's just another nuisance. Like that, like another thing that could just fuck up a place. Yeah. Did you guys ever try any of that shit, or was it?
We talked about how we were going to. We were like, we should take this time. I've actually seen some memes and shit about that. It's like, and then a month later, it's like, never mind, just forget it. Forget all that.
Sorry, I have to buy groceries. I've got to sanitize my groceries today. I'm not going to be able to make it.
UV light on my groceries is what they were saying at one point, right?
I've got to spray my whole house down.
I have to disinfect everything around me, so I'm not going to be riding today.
I got to get gas, and I'm having a panic attack. Right? So,
yep.
Getting gas, yeah.
I was so scared to get gas. Whenever the first initial hard, like when they said everyone has to stay at home, like I remember like a couple times it was like I got to go to the grocery store, but I need gas on the way there. And it's like, how many people have touched this gas? Like before they knew it was not just like touch base, when you're singing happy birthday and washing your hands, like 10 times a day and your skin's all dried out from sanitizer.
It's cracking.
I was buying a lot of Everclear though, and putting it in spray bottles and just hosing everything down.
Yeah. So you spray a little in your mouth.
Take a little sip, and then maybe clean off the Xbox controller.
Wipe it all down.
Yeah, that's the, you realize just how much shit you touched, but then also like just, man, you know what? Like probably like blowing out candles over food. Yeah, like was probably like not a great thing, anyways. Like stuff like that.
That's a horrible idea.
There's just so much shit that you just kind of go, we probably should have been doing this pre-pandemic.
Yeah, there's a lot of those horses that don't go on back in the barn. Like I think we should maybe keep some of this stuff around. Like,
one of the things that I saw with a lot of artists doing was maybe not writing, maybe not playing, writing a record, writing songs, but falling into other creative outlets. I actually have loved painting all my life, but I just haven't done it because I'm a songwriter, and maybe I want to do that. Or like
Dave's a sculptor now. Actually, Dave does 3D sculptures.
Yep. I don't really.
No.
Well, I was going to ask that though. Like, do you guys
I could have learned in that time. I didn't learn shit. I didn't do anything.
Yeah. See, that's the whole going back to the whole limbo thing. Because you're like, well, I can't learn a new craft. Like,
needlepoint.
Yeah.
If we'd have just started that first day, just learning any one thing.
Yeah, I could have something at least pretty licked by now. Like. No, I remember messing around with a bunch of synthesizers, but I don't know. Fun. I don't know if I got anywhere with them. I do know I love to make noises on them, but
I got my sourdough down.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
I've already forgotten how. I don't even know what.
I think I am now like a crockpot master chef.
Crockpot, yeah.
Can cook you anything in crockpot. Name it.
Corn dogs.
If it fits in there, I can cook it.
This sounds like a TikTok series,
right? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just me mashing stuff into
Sam
a crock
just
pot.
pointing up above his head at the text. Crock pot.
Pork butt. Cream of mushroom.
I will say, like, TikTok is like a place where you're just like, the idea of it, you go, this is too young for me. I don't need to be on here. But then you find these little pockets.
They're hilarious.
And you're like, okay, well, you know what? True crime TikTok. That's cool. Cooking TikTok.
We got to get one of them songs on there, bro. That's what you need.
Yeah.
Straight to the top.
Viral.
Get somebody.
Can you say viral still? Is that
I think you can say viral.
Off the table now?
I think we were good on viral. Ooh, kind of touchy right now.
Have you fallen into, I guess, like cocktail TikTok?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just making all kinds.
Learn how to make a crazy drink.
Let me muddle stuff from now on for everything.
I'm just going to muddle everything in sight and just see what I got.
I just think it's funny that some drinks make you turn stuff to mush before you pour the liquid in there. Like, first make a mush, and then
First make a smash.
and then pour everything over it. I did muddle some avocados into guacamole before, but I don't know if I did anything into a cocktail.
See, obviously, like the burn shots here, right?
Oh, yeah.
They've done different experiments over time with, like, they don't have the cucumber burns anymore. But I was always like, got to figure out a way to do an avocado burn.
Oh, man.
Let's
in.
figure that out.
Just do like a creamy avocado salsa and dump them habaneros in there.
Dude, that's
an avocado julep.
Swirl around a little tequila with that thing. Woo. I go make that right now.
It gave me heartburn just thinking about that, actually.
Go hit up Marketplace, make one right now.
Well, that's kind of like the funny thing about like the cocktail TikTok is like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'm gonna figure out, and then it's like, I just end up going to the fridge and getting.
Yeah, you're like 7 ingredients. Like that means I have to buy 7 bottles of something. And I'm like, I'm just gonna get this one giant one of Espolòn and probably just
and this lime.
Yeah, and then probably just roll with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the.
Everclear and Coke.
Oh man. So obviously though, like this, you mentioned like how just the past few months have been way more creative, way more of a good space than the early pandemic and stuff. What's it been like as far as like what you guys have planned for going forward? Is this already like kind of shaping up into a record, or are you guys just kind of We're working
on songs right now. I don't know if we necessarily have the specific forethought of making an entire record. Just keep making songs, and whatever formation we want to put them in, we'll release it like that. I know we discussed it earlier, but like kind of making albums is not necessarily the most important thing anymore as far as just keep making music, and there's so many different formats now for it, and there's so many different ways you can consume music. I feel like you can get kind of tied down by just thinking only in album mindset.
12 songs at a time or whatever.
And although I do like doing that, I've enjoyed making a collection of songs that we think go together. But I think right now I'm just trying to focus on cranking stuff out and see what happens.
See, that's like obviously I'm an advocate for an album.
Yeah,
I think we all are.
Sure.
We all love records, but I also think that like sometimes like songs, you find out what like the thing is. If it's just a song, or if it's just, and that's all it's going to be released as, or hey, this is just an EP.
Yeah.
Or like this, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I think like sometimes, especially here in Texas for a while, it was feeling like, yeah, I wrote 10 songs. Here's a record.
Yep.
And like, what's the difference between that and like just releasing 10 singles? You know?
Right. And then once you get those 10, slap them all on one thing and put it back out.
Yeah.
Here you go.
And also, it's like one of the problems or trouble you can get in is that you have a really strong EP and you try to make it into an album,
and it weakens,
and it loses some potency, as you add different stuff. So that's also something that
I think there's
interesting that can happen.
That stress will definitely like make you maybe include something that should have been left off, or like
you got
something
7 real good ones, and then you decide to do a full length, and then you just write.
And there's 3 that just maybe aren't bad, but they just need more time. And you're just trying to
more gestation.
Like, well, listen, we only have 2 weeks at the studio, so let's crank these out and maybe slap it on there. So there's pros and cons to both. Like it's just, I think it's just works what works better for you. And
and we've also never done anything but just release albums.
Yeah.
We've done pretty much that for most of our material, and
coming out of
just try something different.
Coming out of a once in 100-year pandemic, I think the last thing we want to do is just go into a whole bunch of debt to put out,
to put out a 12,
an album that you might
album.
not be able to tour on.
Yeah.
Like, because so much of album, like, being successful, whatever that means, is you supporting it and playing it in front of people. Like,
Right.
that's so much more of it. And right now, that's so uncertain. I think I think you're foolish to bet that that's going to happen. Like, it may, but, like, there's no guarantee. Like, we're not even sure if we're allowed back in overseas, so we're not even sure. I mean, half the rock clubs in the country are closed, so it's like it's going to be whatever comes out of this. It's not going to be what it looked like.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, obviously you guys probably have heard this before. Like, people would go on tour because they made a record.
Yeah.
Before, and now, like, that's kind of shifted to, we're going on tour, or it's the other way around. We're making a record so we can go on tour.
Yeah.
And like that's been one of those things that maybe doesn't necessarily happen as much. Maybe it's you're going to invest that debt, if you will, into just the EP because it's a little bit safer, or hey, we got a new T-shirt. And people buy that kind of stuff as well, versus, and it's a lot cheaper to do that. So
lower overhead.
It's going to be what I find really interesting right now is, like, people were also holding back on records last year, and now it feels like it's, a little bit of an oversaturation where I feel like at times overwhelmed by how many records are coming out.
Yeah.
Because we're basically getting 2 years worth of records.
Yeah. Backlog, right?
Yeah. And also on that, like, the back order of as far as, like, vinyl goes.
Man.
There's so many bands who are like, well, we have this record and you can pre-order it and it's going to be out when it comes out. Cause, like,
I think it's like over 8 months on the wait right now for anything like that. So
it's crazy.
And also, that used to be with, like, all the moving parts of, like, the music industry used to revolve around you having an album. Like, it used, and I hope a lot of this changes because if something good can come out of this, maybe have the artists take a little bit more of the power back, because so long it was dependent. You couldn't get management, you couldn't get an agent, you couldn't get, any sort of representation unless they had something to sell. And, like, they didn't want you just playing a bunch of shows. They needed a product to sell as well. And now I think, hopefully we can kind of flip it on its head and maybe, like, no, now we're going to do this a different way. Like, we're going to do this one where not everyone sitting at desks has all the say. So
This episode of New Slang is brought to you by the Blue Light Live here in Lubbock, Texas. Blue Light has long been the heart and soul of the Lubbock singer-songwriter scene and has been a home away from home for some of Texas, Americana, country, and rock and roll's finest over the years. Talk with 99.9% of the songwriters who have come out of Lubbock and the Panhandle at large over the past 20 years, and they'll point to just how integral and necessary the Blue Light is. With live music and touring slowly but surely coming back, spots like the Blue Light are getting back to their usual ways as well. That means music every night of the week. Do you want to see that schedule? Well, I've got a few options for you. 1, go to their socials and give them a follow. That is at Blue Light Live on Twitter, at The Blue Light Live on Instagram, and of course by just searching The Blue Light Live on Facebook. They're consistently posting that week's lineup of shows, as well as those heavy hitters that ought to be on your calendar that are coming up on the horizon. 2, check out BlueLightLubbock.com as well. There they have the full schedule, the cover charges, time, any of those specials that may be happening. While there, go check out their merch page. They have a wide range of hats, koozies, hoodies, sweaters, beanies, jackets, and so much more. You can, of course, get all of your merch needs when you go see your favorite band take the stage at Blue Light. Just ask the bartender and they will get you all set. Speaking of which, that's another great way of seeing who's playing there. Just go to the Blue Light. It's at 1806 Buddy Holly Avenue here in Lubbock, Texas. And of course, again, that is bluelightlubbock.com. I'll throw a link into the show notes too. Maybe I'll see you there. Okay, let's get back to the show. You mentioned the tour schedule, the hectic tour schedule, just the consistency of that. Do you feel like it's almost like a necessary slowdown? Like, did you guys feel like, oh, you know what, maybe like we don't need to be playing this many shows even going forward?
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. Yeah. Like the time off, as with a lot of people, I mean, I think that's what's going on with a lot of the stuff across the world and country, especially with jobs. You know, it's just like a lot of people realize that was crazy. Why were we doing
worth
that?
It to us?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah,
like, and it was fun, but you stop and, after you catch up with yourself after, doing that for a couple of years, it's like, this is nice. It's, it's nice to spend more time with doing other stuff that's not just driving you crazy.
And to get to be more selective.
Yeah,
100%,
and yeah.
I know that sounds weird with there not being as many options as there were, but because of that, a weird byproduct is you're able kind of to be more selective. You're like, we don't need to go out for 4 weeks just to go out for 4 weeks. Let's pick 4 or 5 good shows, play those, and then keep working on new material,
Yeah,
Yep.
That's the thing that, like, you mentioned, like, just regular jobs, like people with 40-hour weeks kind of thing, where after this pandemic, and it's the late stage capitalism on Reddit kind of thing, where
no doubt
everyone is giving shit to these 18, 19-year-old Gen Z kids for going, I don't want to work 40 hours.
Yeah.
But
who does?
Yeah.
Like we've all been in this, like, well, who does? My grandpa. Like,
Right. Yeah. No doubt.
I think that work till you die mentality is fading out, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I think that's like I feel like you've seen a lot of people talk about, well, these people are lazy, these kids are lazy, what they're just wanting to mooch off like parents or the government or whatever, and it's like, well, maybe like just because we've been doing it forever doesn't mean it's the right way or like the necessary way now.
Yeah.
That's true with anything that's been like set in stone for forever. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean that's the best. I mean, like, progress is an important thing. Like, you're supposed to change. You're supposed to grow as a person.
Yeah.
You're also supposed to grow as a working society.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
We've been really trying to find out, because we're going to invest in robots to play our sets for us, and we're totally down with that, man. Just put our hats on them and just
Chuck E. Cheese setup, like
just up there, animatronic.
Yeah,
buses.
I think Shooter's got a couple of them.
Yeah, he's got
sets of them. Maybe we just
borrow.
Just a few alterations on the clothes, and then who gets to be the gorilla?
I'm also still cool with it being animals.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who gets to be the gorilla?
Rat or whatever they have going there. I don't
remember. You can be Chucky.
Chucky?
Yeah, I think I want the gorilla.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Was he the drummer?
I think he played keys, bro.
Did he?
Yeah.
I don't really remember. Like, I can't visualize the Chuck E. Cheese
old
lineup.
enough. We're both old enough, but it was Showbiz Pizza whenever I used to go.
That's right. Yeah.
And then the gorilla was leading the band, and then something happened, and Chucky took over, and like then he's the star of the show. It's kind of like a Ted Nugent type situation where the guitar player is on the cover of the album.
Rose to prominence.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually just saw, like, while you guys are sound checking, that one Chuck E. Cheese animatronic that's like out in the desert where it's all like just, it's like falling apart, and it's I can't remember what the quote was, but it was like one of those like I can't remember. I feel like that's like a real. There was probably a joke about it, about like it being like at the Met Gala or something like that, but I don't know. The animatronics, the robots
and
here.
Talking about like the younger kids, and I see all over the place that like restaurants are having trouble reopening because they can't find people to work, and it's like, well, when I worked at a restaurant, you paid me $2.50 an hour, so they don't want to work 12-hour shifts for $2.50 an hour.
You're not paying me. I'm depending on people that just got out of church to pay me,
Yeah,
which is notoriously not good money.
Bad
like,
tipping,
yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it sounds like the problem is that you need to pay the waiters more.
Yeah,
and maybe you can open back up after that. But I don't have a restaurant, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But if I did, it would be probably no good.
I think so. I mean, like it's also we're like one of the only countries who tips,
Yeah,
like
truly, yeah.
That was a big surprise for us in Europe the first time.
It was an even bigger surprise for all the Europeans we tipped without them having any idea why they were just handing them money.
That first bar in Germany we got to, when I tried to tip like $5 and our TM just like slid it back over to me. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I don't know." He's like, he's like, "These people have health care and they get paid like a lot of money to do this." And I was like, "Oh, word!" I was like, and it still felt so awkward
Wrong
to me, and I was like, I thought I'm responsible for this person's livelihood, like I am back home.
Yeah, there's this family story of us going to restaurants, and like the first time I realized, like, my dad or mom was leaving money on the table as a tip, and being like, what the fuck, and like grabbing the money and pocketing it, because I'm like, Mom, you guys like left money there.
Yeah, you left a bunch of money on the table.
And left like, a lot of cash on the table.
And then just like telling them in the car kind of thing, like, hey, I saved y'all. You know what I mean? And
I got
being
you
like,
$10.
Shit, okay, we got to go back.
Yeah, you got to take that back in there.
That whole thing, yeah. I do also think, though, like the idea of the hectic tour schedules has like obviously been like put a lot of like rock and roll stars in the grave earlier.
Yeah, it puts a lot of years on you.
Yeah.
And like just the day-to-day travel, the like all these people end up like with horrible sleeping schedules that they can't fall asleep, and like that's what Tom Petty or like Prince or like any of these people have died at an early age because of, I feel like, the hectic tour schedules.
Just trying to keep up.
Sure.
Yeah,
Not sleeping is one of the worst things. I mean, I still, unfortunately, because of all those years of doing that, I still can't.
Yeah, it ages you. So, I mean, David and I are actually only 19.
Yeah, look at us.
And look like
all this gray hair
old men.
But yeah, man, it's funny because you never, like, before being forced to completely stop for a year, I never thought one
Didn't
second
even think about it. Yeah.
Just get in the van, go. Get in the van, go. Just over and over, and then you take a break. It's like, that hurts. Like, that hurts your body. It's just real hard.
Yeah, the van thing. Like, I could never have been in a band because, like, first off, I can't like be in the vehicle other than like the front seats.
Yeah.
If I'm not like in one of those, I'm fucking sick.
Yeah.
To just out of it. And also at the same time, I'm the personality type who would never say I got to be in that front seat at all times either. So, but yeah, it's being in a spot for hours at a time and just being crunched up and like, I'm sure like you all grew like an inch during the pandemic,
right?
Just
Yeah,
from like
just
sleeping on it,
right.
like on a regular
My
bed.
spine
Vertebrae
lengthened,
decompressing and just like, what's happening?
Yeah. Touring is just basically like constantly looking for places to sit down. You get to a venue, you're like, where can we sit down? Like,
our whole legs hurt.
Yeah.
What's the you mentioned though, like at the same time there's that balance of like figuring out, or maybe not necessarily figuring out, but there's for me at least, whenever I'm doing just something mundane, that's usually when I'm thinking and probably getting like my best ideas. Now, in relation to songwriting, do you feel like there's something about just like staring out the window, like, and being kind of just in like a certain headspace that's helped in the creative process, or do you have to like be kind of at home sitting and just be in that space to come up with something, to find a song or an idea for a song?
I feel like for me, it's always been like mornings are better for that kind of stuff, which I think they're better for all people that dabble in, kind of more creative stuff. It's just wake up, cup of coffee, and try to figure it out. But I also am realizing that, like, when we were on the road, I don't think I've ever written anything like while we, meaning like I think I have to not
had some
be
ideas
out
and
to
stuff
write.
like that.
I have to
Yeah.
be at the house to like start doing that
And
stuff.
the travel time too, I think, because it's once the vehicle stops, it's nonstop chaos until you get back in the vehicle. So a lot of times, for me at least, getting back in the van was like reset period. It's like I need to maybe shut my brain off and like maybe not think, like just kind of let your mind wander. And like, you know, I'm not saying no ideas are coming in like that, but like it's just that's kind of like a break. Like I don't have to do anything right now. Like I'm not carrying something. I'm not like making a set list. I'm not worrying about merch. I'm not like, you know, it's just I have nothing to do but point this van that way. So it was kind of like I sound like an old sailor or something like that. Just point me where we're going. Give me that open sea.
Westward.
Yeah. Now you're gonna make the sailor record like Sturgill.
Yeah, we should. But the front is just our van, but it looks like a pirate ship. It's got like a sail on it.
There's been a couple vans that could have used a sail that we had.
To get us down when the motor explodes.
Yeah, when we explode.
Or maybe we
engine.
could get oars, like oarsmen.
Oh, there you
we
go.
could all do like simultaneous.
Yeah, Viking style. I like that.
Yeah.
We've been to Norway. We know all about the Vikings.
We know all about them.
Yeah,
now.
went to the museum.
Yeah.
You guys mentioned Moonpies earlier. You guys are on that last record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What obviously, I've talked with them about it, but like, what's y'all's, I guess, side of the story, the version of the story of how you guys ended up, you know, being on the record?
I think it stemmed from that tour. You know, we did that tour with them, and honestly, it was a long run, and it was so much fun. And I think that it was kind of like as soon as they were putting that out and they asked us to do it, it's kind of like picking up on the optimism of that tour. You know, it's like there's a year in between, but we kind of had talked about doing some of that stuff while we were all out, you know, having fun and saying we should record together. We should do everything together. You know,
and we've both kind of our bands started at the same time, and we've played with them like dozens of times before then, but it was just always kind of sporadic, maybe 1-2 shows, see them here, see them there, and we always got along probably better than any other band we've ever hung out with. And, you know, no knocks on any other bands we played with, but that was just, we kind of travel the same, we kind of all have similar sense of humor, and I think, that tour was definitely kind of what set, and we also have some of our teams like kind of starting to mold together, where we have some of the similar people that are working for us and that we're working with, so it kind of just all melded together right at the right time.
Yeah.
I've got a flag that's really getting after me right now.
I'm actually watching it just get at you.
Get out of here.
Also, I feel like they really nailed the song to ask us to play on them with, because it's about being a burnout. I was like, and honestly, I listened to the lyrics and I was like, God, Mike, this is so exactly like what is how we all collectively would talk about feeling.
I believe
on
as the kids say, we feel seen.
Yeah, just out there just pounding it, but it's cool, man. It's a really cool song.
It's a great tune.
Album,
as soon as we heard it, I was like, oh, this is incredible. Like,
he also has that song on the record they did before where it's that Cheap Silver. It's the track that's
title
titled
track.
that. But anyways, those lyrics too, I listened to it and I'm just, he's like, you know, when we were in on the joke, it's like, all of us used to be in on the joke and all this different stuff. You know, I love that, man.
What I love so much about the Moonpies on that Cheap Silver record is, I can't remember exactly what song it is, what the title is, but it's the one where he's just kind of talking about traveling around a bunch. And there's that meta moment of him referencing recording like in London on the record, like, and he's singing about it on the record. Yeah. And I just find like that's like a nice little meta moment for a band. Those guys though, like, you know, as far as we talking about records or EPs or songs, you know, they've sometimes, like, you know, obviously the record, if a record is a record, the theme behind a record, you know, that's what they've been doing, and they've been nailing it like the last few times as far as just like, oh, here is something really cool, and this one's 8 songs, this one's 9 songs, and this one's 12 songs, or what, you know what I mean? Like, and not being tied down to like what the, you know, hitting a certain number on the track list or something like that.
Yeah, what they're expected to do as far as that's all concerned, right? Yeah.
Have you guys done any other like writing or anything with them, or like
we haven't gotten a chance to do that. We've definitely talked about it before with some of those guys.
It's definitely something we're gonna.
Yeah, we'd love to try to do.
Yeah, get into.
We haven't yet. As we're kind of.
They're so easy to work with too.
Coming back from all of this, and those dudes like just straight hit the ground running.
Yeah,
like we were out and we were complaining about having to do 5 in a row because it's really hard to sing, 5 nights in a row. And I found out Mike and them had done like 13 in a row.
Yeah,
it's like how is that even possible?
Okay,
yeah, dude, they just hit the ground, just boom.
That's something like that I've come across a few times talking with people. Have you had to get like back in the rhythm of singing, because like that's obviously a muscle as well. I wonder how many people, went for a long time without singing, and we have a couple shows this weekend, and holy shit, my voice is not at that level of strength of playing again. Has there been any of that, or like were you guys conscious of that throughout, where you kind of kept it in shape, if you will?
It was for me. I played the first part of the pandemic. I did a live stream every week, and I would play for like an hour, but that's not the same as singing with the full band and really pushing.
Singing over the full band.
Yeah, exactly. And then I didn't do anything for forever when everything was just full shut down, and then I slowly eased back into playing some like solo shows. But like I said, that kind of got the muscles back going again. But like there's nothing that compares to singing with drums, bass, and 2 loud guitars. Like it's just a whole different. And I think it was pretty hard for me. I know, like just jumping back into it and like this one might not be there today. Like we might have to work up to that one. But like.
Right. I found that being on the road for like 2 months at a time was real hard. So that by the time when I came back, and we're kind of, easing, so to speak, back into it, or at least just not doing it like that. I was like, oh, it turns out it's easier to sing when you haven't been touring Montana in the middle of winter for a month or whatever,
the dusty Southwest where you're
exactly.
inhaling
changing
dirt.
Altitudes every couple days. But I've, it's funny that just like drinking water and just chilling definitely helps a lot. Instead of screaming at an unsuspecting group of people every night.
Yeah, right.
Like, what's this guy doing? So, rest and all that stuff turns out can actually help your voice quite a bit. Drink a little water.
I did feel very well rested once we got back. I was like, my voice felt strong. I just had to rein in like get the control back at that volume.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
I know it's like at my house, my apartment. I'm really self-conscious of just being, with the thin walls and everything, and they're just singing my ass off at the top of my volume or whatever. So you think you've practiced, but you realize, I've just been like singing really quietly in my house. That's not what I'm doing at all. Like that's not practicing at all.
You're like, oh shit, I forgot we're pretty loud. I'm just kidding. I didn't forget that. I just didn't. It didn't register.
You just didn't think about it for a second.
Yeah, I don't know. Like even this is something. Maybe not necessarily apples and oranges, but if I don't do like a podcast, like as far as like putting it in the I just use GarageBand and cut it. If I miss that for like a week and a half, I'm like, I don't know how to do this anymore.
Where are all the buttons?
I feel like that's the closest thing I can. If I went like a long time without using a keyboard, would I know how to type again? I don't know.
I definitely forgot a bunch more lyrics. It's like, what are the words to this one?
That was
shit.
definitely one I was like,
I'm going to do the first verse again here.
Can we do this one tonight? Like,
I don't know. We'll find out here pretty quick.
Well, that's interesting right there, because obviously when you are missing something in a show, whenever you miss that lyric or you've fumbled over something, I'm sure you realize that like the audience almost never realizes it unless it's really, really bad or unless you acknowledge it.
Yeah, right. 100%.
What do you do in those situations, though?
We laugh. Like, we literally just laugh at each other.
Like,
oh, my God, it's so funny. Like,
we've gotten good at, like, covering it where, like, I think a lot of times it does happen. No one notices, but we do, and we'll, like, somebody will cover somebody else's mistake or somebody will pick up what happened. And, like, sonically maybe no one hears it, but they'll see us
start
kind of chuckling at each other.
Right?
And it's like, it happens, like...
It's probably going to happen here.
Unless you're the
couple hours.
Moonpies, and then you just never make a mistake.
Well, I think there's this thing that happens on like the Monday nights up here on Songwriter Night where people think like they're lowering expectations of saying, "Hey, I just wrote this afternoon," and you're gonna
don't ever say that.
Yeah,
right.
And my
don't
whole
ever
thing
tell
is,
anybody
like,
when you wrote it.
Yeah.
well, that's
First
not
of
like
all,
setting up anything like right for you. You're not lowering expectations. You are, but it's in this way of like, well, I can just ignore this thing.
With recording, it's always like, this isn't mixed.
Yeah,
This
right.
is just-
This isn't a final mix.
This isn't a
yet,
final
yeah.
mix.
It's like, well, that's good because
Yeah.
y'all's sounds are weird, bro. Like,
Yeah. Just don't let anybody hear it till it's ready.
yeah, no way.
That's the there's something because everyone always asks, how'd it sound out there? And
Nobody wants to
I always
answer.
just kind of go, oh yeah, it was great. But I like, there's if you're looking for like me to give you the grade, I don't have it in front of me. Like, to,
Right.
like
The
well,
jam in
I
song
knocked
3 was
off,
a little
like-
loose, but
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
But it's I guess it's just one of those things. But yeah, you guys want to go get a beer or something?
Yeah, they turned the daiquiri machines on, and I was so distracted.
Oh, there you
I also
go.
stuck my hand in some gunk, so.
Oh, did you
some
put it
gunk.
underneath here?
No, I think it was on top, but like,
Oh.
I mean, it's a bar. There's gunk.
Just taste.
Might be,
Diet Coke.
might be a little bit of daiquiri.
Well, guys, it's been fun having you guys on. Hopefully we can do this again next time. All right, that is it for this one. Giant thanks to Sam and David for taking some time. Be sure to check out our presenting partners over at Desert Door, The Blue Light Live, and Charlie Stout Photography. Go check out the merch store, pre-order the Lubbock Way, subscribe to New Slang if you aren't just yet, and yeah, I'll see y'all later in the week for another episode.